Welcome, everybody, to the Streakers Island podcast. It is I, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst. And as a reminder, the Streakers Island podcast is powered by Streakers Gaming. Have a chance to put in your picks, make your own custom props, and so much more. Looking for more information, head over to streakers.ca and follow them on all the social medias. But, of course, we have the usual cast of, I'm going to call them suspects today because I think Mr. Moreforce looking a little sus. He might be coming out of a vent. If anyone gets that reference from 2019, it's Mr. Moore for your money.
What?
You never played Among Us, did you, Dan?
No.
Mr. Lane Dashing.
Is that like Minecraft?
No. Mr. Lane Dashing.
Not every game.
Did you ever play Among Us?
I think once, and I thought it was the dumbest game ever.
Oh, man, I love it.
Is that like Fortnite?
No.
I want to check with you. Full Fortnite gamer,
But let's get right into business here, and we got a lot to get into. We got to talk about the Jays getting a key sweep. The CFL standings have just gotten a little bit more interesting. Carter Hart might be coming back to the NHL, but doesn't look like to the Edmonton Oilers.
What?
And of course, the NFL had a very busy Sunday. So let's start with the NFL here.
Yeah, Bill.
And I got to say this, okay? So I was one away from having a perfect week on Streakers in my pick 5. As much as I didn't want them to win, I thought for sure KC was going to beat the Eagles. They have never gone 0-2 under Mr. Patty Mahomes.
I thought they were going to go 0-2.
I'm going to show you guys my emotions.
That's why.
You don't get the 5-game streak on Streakers. However, when you see all the other game modes to get it right the next time. I am Mr. Crab and SpongeBob. For anyone who is watching on YouTube, they'd see it. Anyone who didn't, I'm sure that meme will be up on some of the social medias at some point in your life, and you'll be able to see it and laugh along with us. But Luke Wilson, of course, I got to bring him up. That there's no panic in KC. And I completely disagree with him.
Oh, it's tons of
Chris
panic.
Jones chirping the other team after they lost. You didn't get an extra 100 effing yards. And Jalen Hurst is like, bro, we won. You have Travis Kelce throwing his helmet on the sidelines after a play that was his mistake. You have Patrick Mahomes missing wide open touchdown throws. Like, I'm sorry, but like I think there is a legitimate concern in KC because you look, Buffalo's 2-0, right? And it sounds weird, but that is such a tough division. If KC goes 0-3 to start the year potentially, they got the Giants next week, and we're not going into that too much, but I mean the Giants to put up a hell of a fight against the Cowboys. Well, look, if they go down to being 0-3, all of a sudden the Chiefs could be slipping away already for first in their division. I know
Russell Wilson looked pretty good for the Giants today, I gotta admit. I mean, he's putting a new life to that team. And the good news to KC is Miami is also 0-2 and not looking very good.
Oh my gosh, Miami looks. They're another team that I'm very concerned about in.
They need to. They need to call Pitbull, Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide, get on one of his cruises, like maybe at the hotel. Do they gotta get some vibe going? Because there's nothing going on there right now.
Fireball. Do.
But I mean, there were a couple surprises in the NFL, but I mean, unfortunately, we got the injury bug already in week 2 to an elite quarterback in Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
Joe Burrow with a stage 3 turf toe. He could be out a couple months.
Wow.
Mind you, the backup QB did a pretty good job for the Bengals, right? Like Jake Browning still managed to go 21 for 32, 241, 2 touchdowns. Now, mind you, 3 interceptions.
Oof.
But my bigger concern for the Bengals is you couldn't even slow down Jacksonville's offense. And Trevor Lawrence is not good. I'm sorry. He's not. I'm calling that right now. Trevor Lawrence is not good. So I'm concerned.
Yeah, for sure. I don't blame you. I mean, it's I have a gas or ass.
Oh.
Whoa. Gas or ass before the 5-minute mark.
We just so stared in your beautiful eyes, Jacob, whenever 3 seconds leaves the 5-minute mark. But anyway, Gasso asks, with injuries coming to quarterbacks so fast in the NFL season in week 2, and with injuries coming to every positions, will you see possibly the NFL going to a league like the CFL to look at some players to replace these injuries? Gasso asks.
Sadly, ass. And I say sadly because I don't think the NFL respects the CFL talent pool.
Well, we said that. Now, well, that might change with the Buffalo Bills merger with MLSE. What do you think, Mr. Dasco?
Well, I do want to ask you guys a question on that because you guys told me it wouldn't happen, and it's already happening. With instead of putting merch at the front of the store, it's not Argo merch. It's already Josh Allen. You guys said, "Oh, it won't happen." They'll put the Argo. They're already doing it. They're already.
Where? Because we were at the Argo game 2 days ago
at the Real Sports Store.
Okay, today? Well, the Real Sports Store is never even open, so that doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
they had it at the bar. They had it at the Real Sports Store.
I knew they'd have it at the bar. No, I meant it wouldn't be happening at the games itself, and I more mean like. Well, no, it's not, because we were just at the games, and the little bit of Bills merch they had was hardly even noticeable.
Now, mind you, they did have a lot of Argo gear on sale last game. So my theory,
because it was
kind of off the topic of Gasso ass, but anyway, my theory is that they are clearing out Argo merch to make room for Bills merch.
No, Dan, no. There's 2 regular season games left, and it's looking like a 50-50 shot they're going to get a playoff game. They're clearing out the merch because they're realizing they're running out of time to sell it.
Well, that's a possibility, too.
It's not a possibility, it's a reality.
But anything can happen to him if he goes to school.
But Dan, I'm still going to say ask to your question, just because, number 2, I don't see like a Bo Levi Mitchell wanting to leave Hamilton towards a Grey Cup run.
Well, maybe not Bo Levi Mitchell, but maybe a guy like, I don't know, Cameron Dukes, who much
Cameron Dukes is not good enough to be in the NFL. I mean, neither is J.J. McCarthy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, J.J. McCarthy, everyone's going on and on about this kid. He's played 1 good quarter.
What do you think, Mr.
He played 1 good quarter, and he beat the Bears. I'm sorry, but the Detroit Lions were scoring touchdowns without even trying against the Bears this week.
What do you think, Mr. Daskos? We got a little off topic. Do you think Gasso asked my remark?
Yes. They're not going to respect the CFL quarterback.
Again, I'm not saying I agree with the statement. Because I think there are guys in the CFL, like to name a few. I still think Nathan Rourke didn't get a legitimate shake in the NFL. I think Vernon Adams Jr., they say he's too small. Then why is Kyler Murray a starting quarterback?
Yeah, exactly.
They say you can't have game managers, but then you're seeing guys like Daniel Jones and Galaparo having success in the NFL. So why not a Cody Fajardo?
Like 100%.
It won't happen, but I think it could. I wish it could. But Dan, I want to ask you, and I'm going to put you full screen as I read you some statistics. Are you ready for this, Dan?
Yeah.
18 for 33, 203, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Oh,
whose stat line am I reading, Dan?
Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
What was the final score, Dan?
I don't know.
31-17 Seahawks.
Okay, calm down. The Seahawks are a good team.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
He was good for 1 week. It was fun.
Yeah, I told you, Aaron Rodgers, he cared about beating the Jets. He didn't care. And I mean, I'm not being awful. Even if you're the Steelers, the Jets looked like a great team against you, and then the Bills made them look like they belong in the XFL.
I never said Aaron Rodgers was going to win all 18 games. I do think he can still win 10 games this year.
I mean, look, I'm sorry, but that offense was absolutely pathetic for the Steelers today.
Well, call me crazy. I can't even see him winning 12.
No.
But they won 10 last year. They want to do better than last year.
They won 10 of Russell Wilson, who I will still say, I think, proved it this week. He is a better quarterback than Aaron Judge.
Russell Wilson looked really good. I'll be honest.
He played phenomenal.
The fact that they got rid of Russell Wilson to get Aaron Rodgers, especially I love Aaron Rodgers, did kind of puzzle me. I kind of pictured Aaron Rodgers going to a team like Minnesota, for example, that had a rookie quarterback, right? I could see that being a better fit. But anyway, here we are now. And a team like the Steelers took the gamble on someone like Aaron Rodgers to do better than last year. Last year, they got 10 wins and 7 losses between Russell Wilson, the other fine gentleman. What is his name?
Justin Fields.
Fields, thank you, Fields. Yeah. And I think we want to do better. So Aaron Rodgers only has 1 win. He just needs 11 more wins to go. And
Russell Wilson say, I want to read you this stat line.
Oh, yeah, great game.
30 for 41, 450 yards. 3 touchdowns to 1 interception. Okay, I get the Giants lost this game, and then overtime was a weird situation.
Yeah, here we go.
It was just a string of bad luck. But look, I think the Giants, an 0-2 Giants team, I think this team could end up sneaking back up.
I think so, too.
Wilson can play like that, and I get the Cowboys' defense is not very
I hate to admit that because I hate the Giants.
I hate the Cowboys.
I hate the Giants.
I don't hate you, though, Lane. Just so you know.
No one hates Lane.
Well, someone.
Maybe his ex, but that's another story.
All my exes live in Texas, which is why I hang my hat in Tennessee. Because, Lane, you're the only 10 that I see.
Well, I was thinking all my exes live in Texas like George Strait.
Okay, calm down, Drake. But
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I'm
both
just
musical lines.
Overall, though, I kind of want your guys' opinion. What do we think of this so far, like the Sunday of NFL football? Because I thought most of the games were kind of boring.
Really? I disagree. I think this was a great week for NFL. I think there was a lot of close games. There was a lot of, there's a lot of last-minute finishes. I think, you guys always just complained there was a lot of, it's always the last 2 minutes kind of boring. I actually found the last 2 minutes of the games really compelling. There was a lot of comeback wins. Even Carolina today, they were down by like 17 points. I'm thinking, holy moly, Carolina, get it together. And yet they had a late run there. And then, of course, the game that made me want to cry more than Jacob's ever cried in his life was that game between Denver and Indianapolis with that holding call. But at the end of the day, man, I think it was a good week in NFL. I was sitting there on my couch. I was, listening on the radio when I went to do Uber. I thought it was a great week.
You know what? I gotta say, I'm kind of snap dab in the middle between you two because I looked at the schedule ahead of time. I thought, oh boy, that's going to be a pretty boring week. Oh my God, this is creepy. Okay, well, here I am in the middle. But however, I thought the games delivered better than what the schedule had potential for.
Yes.
I thought, yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, Lane. So, am I saying, was it as good as week 1? No. Did we get a crazy comeback like the Bills and Ravens? No.
You're not going to get that in the NFL, right?
Was this week much better than the potential of the schedule? 100%.
Okay,
and that's the thing.
But
gas, exactly. And that's the thing. When you have a league with 32 teams, not every game's going to be exciting. But
why? The NHL does it. We'll get more often than not exciting.
Jacob, look with Tampa Bay stayed in defensive zone for 30 minutes of the game, okay? Look at New Jersey with the 2 Scots with the traps. They allow
rules, so that will never happen again.
Okay? So look,
who wants to watch the Patriots versus the Dolphins? Who can make the least amount of mistakes to not lose a game for yourself?
What I'm saying is not every game
demolished by the Lions.
What?
You watch J.J. McCarthy, who's supposed to be this super rookie, who I'm sorry has played one good quarter of football. Like McCarthy went 11 for 21, 158, and 2 interceptions. Call Trey Ford if that's good enough for you. Like, I'm sorry, but I do agree that the schedule. Okay, when I looked at the schedule, I thought 90% of the games would be snooze fest, and I think it was 50-50.
Yeah, exactly.
So what was better than to be expected because like the Chiefs Eagles, that was a solid game. Broncos Colts, sorry Lane, but that was an entertaining game. I thought
it was, man.
Like Jacob,
but that's kind of the problem. We're saying that Panthers Cardinals not bad.
Jacob, you're not understanding.
Ravens blew out the Browns. Lions blew out the Bears. Bills blew out the Jets. Seahawks,
Jacob,
not quite blew out, but dominated the Steelers for most of that game.
You're not understanding what I'm saying, though.
I get what you're saying. You're saying you thought the schedule looked terrible.
Let me talk.
Thought of it.
What I'm trying to say is, okay, even look at hockey. You look at a game like the Battle of Alberta, Edmonton versus Calgary, okay? Do you think a game between Utah and Columbus is going to be as exciting? Probably not, okay? And I'm just saying, not every NFL game is going to be like the Bills and Ravens. But for the most part, the games this week were much better. We weren't seeing 6-9 scores, finals, and stuff like that. That's what I'm trying to say,
Sure.
Like,
yeah, I can.
So
like
you
I
say
said, to me, the
the
games are
NHL is
50-50.
exciting every game. Not every NHL game is exciting.
We had some great games and we had some snorefests.
Yeah, that's what this week
I'm a
was.
Bills fan,
And
but
when
a
you
30-10
expect a
Jets game
mid-season,
is not a game that I'm going to sit down and watch. It's boring.
Yeah, but expect early in the
one thing-
season games is kind of what you expected.
Well, there's one thing I think we can all agree on. I think as a group we could come together and all say the same thing. I think we all owe Daniel Jones an apology because that's the second week now with this guy who I think all of us three kind of were like, I don't know if we belong, and coming in, but man,
Yeah.
second week where this guy's balled out like 300 plus yards, 5 touchdowns. Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna give it.
I agree with that.
I owe you an apology, brother, as they say on the streets. I was not aware of your game plan. I was not aware. I don't know
Yeah, I
what
will
that
say,
means.
because Daniel Jones, he did today 23 for 34, 316 and a TD, and he let the Colts to a victory against a good Denver team.
Insane.
All of a sudden, maybe the Colts could be a bit of a sleeper. Maybe
Yeah,
Jones wasn't the problem.
Yeah. Well, I think we're seeing that more this year so far than any NFL year I remember personally. I'm not a huge follower of the NFL, but I do follow it quite a bit. Like, usually in NFL seasons, you can predict before the season starts, yeah, this team's going to do this. Yeah, this team's going to do this. Yeah, this team's not going to do that. Yeah, this team sucks. This team's great. This year, all the predictions are kind of all over the map. I mean, who had on a bingo card that KC was going to be 0-2? I mean, I did, but a lot of people didn't. So, it's going to make a really interesting season that if it continues like this. I mean, who thought that Daniels of Washington would be struggling? I thought he would be playing well still. I think in week 2, he was mediocre at best. So I think we're seeing a lot. Same with Jones, as you said, Lane. He's playing out of his mind. Russell Wilson playing out of his mind. We're seeing a lot of turns in the NFL this
week
year.
1.
Pardon me?
Justin Fields, week 1, played incredible.
Another one, exactly.
This week against Buffalo, we looked terrible, but remember, there still are 2 more games on the docket for week 2 in the NFL, and those games are on the Streakers app, and I'll be posting a quick video tomorrow afternoon about some picks and props that you should lock in.
Oh, I forgot about Monday Night Football. Is that terrible?
There's 2 games.
You're fired.
I feel like today's Monday.
Yeah, we had the Buccaneers versus the Texans and the Chargers versus the Raiders. I think one of those games will be good. One of those games will be a bit of a dud. But as we also know, as the NFL season is just starting, the CFL season is in high gear as we just, we're after Labor Day.
Oh, yeah.
And you may be very shocked when you see my power rankings.
Well, so take your headphones off, Blade.
Let's take a look at those CFL power rankings.
Wake up, everyone.
And when we take a look at those CFL power rankings.
What?
Presented by the Streakers On podcast, powered by Streakers Gaming.
Let's go.
I have the Hamilton Ticats at 1. Wow. Saskatchewan Roughriders 2. Calgary Stampeders 3. Lane.
Lane's so happy he left.
Toronto Argonauts 4. Montreal BC Lions 5. Montreal Alouettes 6.
Let's go.
What's that?
He has a t-shirt. Edmonton Elks 7. Ottawa Red Blacks 8. Winnipeg Blue Bombers womp 9th.
Oh.
How are we feeling, boys?
Oh yeah, we're eating it right tonight, baby. Oski wee wee, Oski wawa, holy Mackinac, get your sushi, go to the store, buy some. Don't eat that wasabi stuff because it really sucks to eat. We need everything else because the Ticats eat sushi raw, baby.
Oh, it's a Ticats jersey. I was wondering, what are you holding?
Oh, yeah, that's what we got to get the CFL, man. You saw it.
Lane, you need my hat.
They could be like Pigskin Pete.
Oski wee wee. See his hat. Looks just like it, except it's Argo
Dan,
blue.
You seem I'm going to say, you seem pissed when I put Hamilton at 1. So why?
No, not pissed. That's the wrong word. I guess I was initially surprised.
Saskatchewan's coming off back-to-back bad weeks.
Yeah, Calgary came off a bye, so the more I think about it, I actually agree.
Back-to-back wins and playing some really good football, finding different ways to win.
1999, baby.
I actually kind of agree with these standings. I mean, after that terrible loss, you could debate if we put Calgary at 2 and Saskatchewan 3.
Debated it.
But Calgary did have the bye. But yeah, the Argos look phenomenal. BC Lions, I don't remember.
They beat
Ottawa, right? BC Lions beat Ottawa?
Yeah, and pretty easily.
Yeah, Montreal lost against...
Montreal beat.
You could probably put Montreal ahead of BC.
No.
Okay.
No way. Montreal was still only won 2 of their last 7. I can't put them any higher than 6.
Yeah, true. So, I think you got to put Will Bain on this week.
And again, I know I'm going to get some flack about putting Toronto at 4 because some people would argue with me BC should be higher than Toronto, but Toronto has won 3 straight. They
won 2 field goal kickoff wins. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
And again, Nick Arbuckle goes down with an injury. Jared Dagey goes out there and makes a couple key throws, right? So they're doing it even. It is very hard to win a football game when you turn the ball over 6 times, and the Argos found a way to do it. So for me, it just shows character that they're finding ways to win. And for Hamilton, they're playing basically perfect football right now, so I can't not have them listed as the best team in the CFL.
The thing with the Argos, too, when you lose your franchise player like Chad Kelly, is when you got to win by committee. And that's what we're starting to see in the Argos the past few weeks, so winning by committee. I mean, the Ticats still have their franchise players in Bo Levi Mitchell and Kenny Lawler. And we were at the Hamilton-Winnipeg game, and they stepped up. And they stepped up, those 2 players. They really stepped up, in my opinion. And look at someone like Bell, which I didn't believe Bell was that great. The last few games, he's looked phenomenal. Hamilton's starting to figure it out. And Hamilton against Winnipeg did look like a number 1 tier team in that game. They really did.
And when we look at our standings, this is where things start to get a little interesting, right? So let's take a look at the West first. And for viewers at home on Spotify, you're on the road, you're on your way to Baskin Robbins to get $10 off an ice cream cake.
That's $10.
Oh, we got to give that deal, bud.
But
when's that deal on till?
Saskatchewan, no idea. Saskatchewan.
By the way, we're not sponsored by Baskin Robbins, but we.
I gotta leave. I gotta get my $10 ice cream cake. See you later.
So you have the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who have clinched a playoff spot. They have not clinched first in the West yet, right?
Yet.
My big concern out of anyone in the West is currently Winnipeg. You don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
You have a running back who's very pissed off and doesn't seem like he wants to be there. And you have BC breathing down your neck and Edmonton breathing down your neck and Toronto and Ottawa starting to win games. So you're putting all that together, you might not be able to get a crossover in the East anymore.
Oh boy!
So all of a sudden, Winnipeg with the Grey Cup in Winnipeg might be on the outside looking in.
Now, Jacob, correct. How many more games is he? How many more games? How many games you play in total against?
18.
18.
We got 5 left.
Calgary has 6 left. That's gonna matter.
Yes, Calgary's got the game in hand.
Yeah, that's huge.
If you win.
If you win that, you're huge.
I'll tell you, that's something we haven't been talking about much on the island, I guess because it's very convenient that Calgary had a bye week when they did. But let's be honest here. Last game at Calgary, they did not look very good. And there was some drama between Dickerson and Adams and Walker. So, if we could, I hate to say, I hope it doesn't happen, we could see a turn starting in Calgary.
I don't see Calgary missing the playoffs because I think...
No, I don't see them missing the playoffs, but we could see them lose home field.
BC would have to go on a pretty strong tear, and You gotta remember too, when we talk about the West, we also gotta talk about the East, and well, the East is heating up, right? You got Hamilton, who's really starting to, in my opinion, they're starting to pull away. But Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa are pretty neck and neck. Ottawa, I think, one more loss, and they're in trouble. But you have Toronto and Toronto. Remember, Toronto and Montreal play this week coming up.
I think Ottawa's in trouble now.
That Toronto-Montreal game could decide who finishes second. Like, I hate to say it, for Toronto, I think that is a must-win game. I think they absolutely have to win that game, or they're done.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
because unfortunately, I mean, either way, I do want to kind of, take down the standings for a second here. I do want to say, I think for both Toronto and Ottawa, even if they find the way on the outside looking in, I think they got to be proud with the terrible starts and how they've turned things around to kind of save their season. They've shown a lot of fight and a lot of heart. Both teams missing multiple key players and finding ways to stay like, look, Toronto last game, Nick Arbuckle goes down, no Dominic Coxey, no Tavares Daniels, no problem. That's impressive. Right? And they've had no Chad Kelly all season, and Nick Arbuckle's the first quarterback in the CFL to hit 4,000 yards this year. Impressive. I look at Dustin Crum, back-to-back 300-yard plus games, back-to-back games with at least 3 touchdowns between on the air and running. Like Ottawa and Toronto, when the chips are down, they found ways to keep their season alive. I can't say I'm not impressed, but go ahead, Dan.
I have a gasso ass.
La-di-da-da.
Oh. Now, this is technically a gas or ass, but it also could be a this or that. Gas or ass, if Ottawa misses the playoffs versus Toronto, Ottawa's coaching, GM, players are more on a hot seat than Toronto, because Toronto knew going into it would not have a franchise quarterback for the length of time. They lost their whole defense to Edmonton for whatever reason we'll never understand. But anyway, so gas or ass, I think Ottawa is in more in a hot seat situation if they miss the playoffs over Toronto.
Oh, 100%.
I'm going to say gas because Toronto, it's kind of like Winnipeg. You knew eventually that a team that has won 2-3, 4-7 Grey Cups are going to start to lose. It's like with Winnipeg. When you go to the Grey Cup 5 straight years, eventually it's going to fall apart. Ottawa took a big step forward last year, and I feel we've taken steps back this year.
100%. And look at all the games. I don't know if you remember earlier, but especially early on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many games they just threw away from terrible coaching and not putting people in the right situation and making this mistake and making all these little mistakes that the time don't seem that big, but when you get down to a playoff crunch and get down to the nitty gritty, you need these wins. Yeah. You need those 2 points, and they threw away probably at least 3 that I can think of off the top of my head where I thought that should be a win, that should be a win, and that one should be a win. That's 6 points, man.
And I'm going to say this too. I think Ottawa, like Toronto, might have some quarterback controversy by the end of the year with the way Dustin Crum has been playing. Kind of like the way I feel with Nick Arbuckle in Toronto. Lane, you were not a part of our live show. I cried about it for 6 consecutive minutes. But, which, by the way, it was one of our best viewed shows. So, Lane, maybe you just can't come on the lives anymore. I kid. We love you, Lane.
What's going on with
but Lane, I kid. But, Lane, here's the interesting thing. So, I got into a pretty heated debate with people in the comment section. A friendly debate, if you will. People seem to think I'm crazy when I say Nick Arbuckle was a starting quarterback in the Canadian football.
Why?
Because he had a bad game last week, but he also played with an injured calf, I think, the entire game.
Okay, whatever.
Because they're like, well, he makes too many critical errors. And I'm like, okay, so does Nathan Rourke. What's your point? Everyone's going Nathan.
Totally by Mitchell.
So like, you have to look. Nick Arbuckle this year, right? Is of one thing. People said, well, his completion percentage isn't good enough. Okay, he's completing 72.5% of his passes. Well, he hasn't thrown enough touchdown passes. He's thrown 25. He's second in the CFL. Well, he's thrown too many interceptions. okay, he has thrown the most interceptions, but he's also attempted the most passes in the league. He does not have the highest interception rating at all. He's only 3% of his passes are intercepted.
That's crazy.
Well, his efficiency rating isn't good enough. He's sitting at 104.5. He's not mobile enough. He leads the Argos in rushing.
If you're trying to tell me,
I'm having just a difficult.
No, I'm with you.
Kind of like I feel like, oh well, he hasn't done it in clutch games. He won the Grey Cup last year. Like, I'm kind of just getting to a point. I don't know what else. Oh well, you know what? The season was lost because of Arbuckle. The season has been salvaged because of Arbuckle.
100%.
I'm not giving him but if you're trying to tell me that you'd rather have Zach Collaros on your team than Nick Arbuckle, you're just, I don't know what that's just not the right opinion to have. If I had to pick either one, I'm taking Nick Arbuckle. Hundo P, I'm taking him over. I'll run through it. Trevor Harris, probably not. Vernon, probably not. Nathan Rourke, 100%. Bo Levi Mitchell, probably not. But it's a debate.
I'm not saying Nick Arbuckle was the best quarterback
Davis Alexander, 100%.
He's certainly a tier 2.
I'd take him over Davis Alexander.
So
right now,
I would too.
100%.
Yeah.
So I want to point this out too, right? Everyone's going on Vernon Adams Jr. as having an MOP caliber season.
And Arbuckle's better in stats.
Efficiency rating, lower completion rating. Even though he's played 2 less games, but Arbuckle's thrown about 1,200 passing yards more. Good. He has 10 more touchdown passes, and his interception percentage is only 0.2% higher. And it was lower going into that last game because he threw 4. And I understand he threw 4, but 2 of them, for example, no disrespect to Ungerer. Ungerer was playing where Coxie would normally be.
Yeah.
And no disrespect, but on those 50-50 balls, let's be honest, Coxie probably gets them. Right? I think we could all agree to that. So, and by the way, I'm not saying Nick Arbuckle was better than Vernon Adams Jr., but you start to look at the statistics. Even I want to go to Nathan Rourke. So Nathan Rourke has 20 touchdowns in 13 games in 12 starts. Arbuckle was 25. Yes, Nathan Rourke only has 9 interceptions to Nick Arbuckle's 14, but Nick Arbuckle has a higher completion percentage at 72.5 versus 68.6. The efficiency rating 109.1 for Rourke, 104.5 for Arbuckle. Interception percentage 2.5% for Rourke, 3% for Arbuckle. So it's just when people will tell me, oh, well, Arbuckle is just a very good backup. He's not a starting quarterback. I just have a hard time.
I disagree with that too.
You know what? Lamar Jackson's a backup quarterback then because he hasn't won a Super Bowl where Patty Mahomes has.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, we're comparing guys saying they're better than them. Well, sorry, but Vernon Adams Jr. hasn't got it done in the playoffs. Neither is Nathan Rourke.
It's very sad to say, but there's a lot of situations where some players just, I don't mean just to see it, I mean all sports. Some athletes just don't get the recognition that
this is
deserve. I mean, look at behind Jacob, for example, with his Curtis Joseph jersey. Curtis Joseph
Hall of Famer.
Has 454 wins. One of the best, in my opinion, one of the best goaltenders ever. I'm not just saying I get brownie points from Jacob. I actually believe that. And he didn't get a Stanley Cup. And because he didn't get a Stanley Cup, he's not in the Hall of Fame. But you look at everything else that he did do on the teams that he was on, besides the Maple Leafs and the Red Wings, he was not on franchise caliber teams.
I know.
And he still got 454 wins. And I feel like Arbuckle,
team he went to, he turned them into playoff teams.
Right. And I feel like even Phoenix with Wayne Gretzky as a coach, he would have thought that would happen. But anyway, I feel like Nick Arbuckle is one of those players, regardless what he does, he wins the Grey Cup, he wins the MLP, he turns a season. I think what Nick Arbuckle's done this season is actually a biggest accomplishment than what he did last season. Because he literally changed the whole franchise around being a disaster to being competitive.
And to Dan's point, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
I want to just piggyback off what you're saying, Dan. A lot of
piggy.
I just want to jump on because I wanted to comment. I wanted to get right on your back there. But to Dan's point, when the Argos started the season, and Jacob will know this too, they'll admit who were the Argos focusing on? They were focusing on Chad Kelly, right? Yeah. So the plays they're running, the strategies, the game reps, everything was Chad Kelly. Chad Kelly this. We got to run Chad Kelly plays. We got to run a Chad Kelly playbook. They weren't thinking of Nick Arbuckle. Nick Arbuckle for the first 2 games was running a playbook and running reps that he wasn't really comfortable running. It was only when they really kind of figured out, oh, we're probably not going to have him at all. That's when the shift focused, and then when that shift finally focused, the Argos started winning games and looking like one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, 100%. Though, the $1 million question is, and Lane, you know what? I'll only charge you a nickel.
I'll give you a quarterly. I don't want to rip you off. I'll give you at least this quarter. There you go.
So with Nick Arbuckle's calf injury, right, and Chad Kelly, we don't know if he's going to be ready for Montreal on Friday.
Why didn't he play? I thought he was ready. What's with the big comeback? Why didn't he play?
Well, I mean, this whole post on social media was just idiotic. But according to Ryan Dimwitty, he's just not ready. He just wasn't quite ready yet.
What if he took that post down?
He did not take the post down. Chad Kelly doesn't take things down.
That's funny. The comeback, but you're not ready.
Now you're looking at Jared Dagey, and I think Mr. More for your money owes Jared Dagey an apology because he's yelling in the stands. This guy can't throw a ball. This guy's hopeless. Put Janarian Grant in at quarterback. And then what Jared Dagey does is throw a couple really high-skilled throws to get the team into field goal range. Dan is so embarrassed about it. He's going on his cell phone, so he's pretending they can't hear me.
He did take down the post, by the way.
Did he?
Yeah, did he actually?
Wow.
I follow Mr. Kelly on Instagram because I love him that much. I do follow Nick Arbuckle on Instagram, too. I love him that much as well.
And just wants to see all the Argos shirtless.
100%, well.
But
my favorite shirt this guy that got rid of in Kevin Brown is really up. He looked gorgeous. It's really upset that got rid of him. Anyway, just to add quickly.
Hold on. To let me finish. Okay. What I was getting at, though, is how concerned are you about Toronto if they have to go to Jared Dagey against Montreal?
Very.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, I'm just curious. Tell me.
Because, he made the great forward to set up the field goal to win the game. That's fantastic. All power to him. And the any day, he was 50% to his throwing completions. And he didn't throw many yards. I get he was in a very unique situation. This is his first game-winning drive of his career. And I'll give him credit for that. But I'm sorry, dude. There were some throws he did that I could have done.
Like
and
what?
Montreal, in my opinion.
I'm calling you out. Like what?
Montreal, in my opinion.
Like what? Like what? What throw did he miss that you could have made?
Like all of them, and he missed.
That's not true at all. One of them.
Yeah, it is. So Montreal, in my opinion, is a better team than Edmonton. No, because of how they beat Saskatchewan. They got a better defense.
No, they do not have a better defense. No, they don't.
Okay, I don't know. I just feel
they signed Sean Lemon. He's too busy pissing on logos than actually playing football. You got
he pissed on a logo?
Yeah, yes. He don't you remember that? That's what he got a fine for.
I remember he celebrated funny. I didn't realize it was pissing on.
He pretended to pee on a logo like a dog.
Oh, the dog thing. Yes, I do remember that. I meant he literally ripped out his thing and pissed on it.
And maybe I'm delusional, and we'll get way more into this on the Thursday episode. But I still think Ryan Dimwitty is a smart enough coach that they can find a way to win with Jared Dagey in at quarterback. I think they have a new system because they're not running, as Lane said, they're not running a Chad Kelly system.
There's another concern.
And I think a Nick Arbuckle system is a hell of a lot closer to Jared Dagey than a Chad Kelly system would be for Jared Dagey.
There's another concern.
Come in here. Dagey does have some arm talent. He has been in the CFL for 3 seasons. He's got that swagger. You can go, oh, come on, all you want. Look at
Philip. He's played 3 bloody games.
Doesn't matter. Look at PJ Walker. He couldn't read a 12-man defense in Calgary. Well, you have a guy that knows how to read 3-man defense.
Okay, that's like saying Nathan Yorker's been in the NFL 4 seasons because he hold a clipboard for 4 years.
Okay, you know what though? I would take Nathan Rourke in an NFL game over a quarterback who's never even been on an NFL practice roster. Look at JJ McCarthy. I would take Nathan Rourke over JJ McCarthy any day that ends in Y.
There's another problem with your theory.
Would you not take Nathan Rourke over JJ McCarthy any day that ends in Y?
100%.
There's another problem with your theory, Mr. Jacob.
What's that?
Spencer Brown. In order for a so-so quarterback to be competitive, you have to rely on your running game.
Not
Spencer
necessarily.
Brown looked very good the last couple games, but that game last week against Edmonton,
has
I
the
think he
best
looked
run
pretty weak.
defense in the CFL, in my opinion.
What?
Edmonton has one of the best run defenses in the CFL, in my opinion. I don't think Montreal's run defense is as good as Edmonton's.
I don't know. I'm just saying you got to rely heavily on a running back that's played for like 3
I'm also
seconds.
relying on Toronto's defense that has been getting better and better every week, that is going to make a play when they need it. I still think Toronto
Oh, for sure. Their defense looks really good.
Again, we're not going to get, we'll get into way more in that later, but that is the controversy right now. And we'll know more by Tuesday when the Argos have their first practice. We'll see if Nick Arbuckle's taking team 1 reps, Chad Kelly, or potentially Jared Dagey. I will say, I think if it's going to be Dagey, they got to make the decision early in the week to get him as much reps as physically possible. Like, I think, hear me out here. I think Nick Arbuckle could go in with minimal reps and still play well. So if I'm 50-50, I'm giving Jared Dagey all the reps right now to get him ready.
Oh, do you, even if you start Dagey, do you keep Arbuckle, Chad Kelly dressed just in case he's terrible?
The thing is with Kelly, they're saying if he's not 100%, he's not going to go.
Well, they can say whatever they want. The difference is the circumstances have changed if Nick Arbuckle is injured.
But I mean, look, it's more than just the issues there. It's also, you know, there was a lot of drama between the coaching staffs between Edmonton and Toronto after that.
That was quite something to see.
That was something crazy. We almost saw a fist fight.
We don't see that at CFL every day. We see crazy comebacks and not fist fights like that.
But I want to move on to my one I thought would be our first gas the ass for the day, but it is our second gas or ass. Da, 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 da.
That was creepy.
Boop.
Stick to your day job, Jacob. You can't really sing.
Disagree with you. If the Blue Bombers can't get their running game going full tilt, they have zero chance of making the playoffs. Gas.
Gas. I hate to say it, but yeah, gas.
Why are you saying gas now, Mr. Morfor? You're going on, and I'm going to go on my 10-second rant. Zach Collaros is the best thing ever. Brady O'Vera is the best thing ever. Zach Collaros is going to play every single game, even though he has a concussion. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have championship pedigree.
Because I said all that when Zach Collaros was healthy and in the lineup. If he's not in the lineup, you have to rely on your running game, and your running game's not there. We're not going to get it. What's so funny?
Because in our post-game shows, you went on like, oh, they have all this pedigree.
Yeah, with Zach Collaros.
You said it after the game against Hamilton. Collaros didn't play that game.
Dan, I love you, but man, that was fun. Jacob in 10 seconds literally summed up what you've been saying about the Blue Bombers.
I love you too, bud, but I said all that with Zach Collaros.
That was impressive, actually.
We saw the game with Stevenson, okay? Like Trevor Stevenson, whatever his name is.
Trevor Stevenson.
Trevor, you bum.
Chris Trevor, yeah.
You know, I'm saying this. The problem is for Winnipeg, years before their defense was good.
I don't know who Chris Stevenson is, or whoever you are out there. You're my boy.
The problem is Winnipeg's defense used to be able to dominate, and
better follow some streak.
Now their defense is okay, but it's not what it used to be. And let's be honest, Chris Trevler, if he has to start throwing the ball consistently, Winnipeg's in trouble.
Yeah.
Especially with the way BC's playing. And, you know, like you have BC, and I'm still not, as much as friend of the program Key is saying that Edmonton is out, I disagree. I still think the Elks have a shot. But I mean, like Winnipeg, they got Ottawa, Hamilton, and Edmonton for their next three. I'm going to say this. I almost Winnipeg to try to get some space and to at least, they especially at least got to beat Ottawa because they're worried about trying to get that crossover spot, worst case scenario.
Didn't Ottawa beat Winnipeg?
Especially considering, Dan, I do believe you're right. I'm just double checking.
I think we did earlier in the year. Guys were any big upsets.
No, Winnipeg beat Ottawa 30-27. It was very close.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
So, but I mean, like, if Ottawa can win that game and win by at least 4 points, all of a sudden they would hold the tiebreaker. So that's a big game for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But, like, guys, you know what? Like, honestly, this is my favorite part of the CFL is this time of year. A quick note Hamilton Tiger Cat was taken off the field as Dan yelled the go-kart, which was not a go-kart, on Friday night. Devin Veresuk, I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but the good thing is he looks to be okay because he was out golfing on Saturday with the boys.
Oh, good. That was a scary injury.
Scary injury because he rolled in lane. If you didn't see it, he rolled when he tackled. He rolled on his neck and his whole neck twisted really bad. They covered his head. It was a pretty scary injury, but it looks like he's going to be A-okay.
That's good.
That's very good.
Is Nick Arbuckle doing good or no? Is he doing?
We won't know about Arbuckle until at least Tuesday.
Yeah, we were at the Argo game, and we're very fortunate. Our season tickets is like directly behind the Argo bench.
Like Dan literally stalks them, like he follows them when they sleep.
Well, basically, like we can literally see everything. And Nick Arbuckle was limping very hard on the Argo bench. He was trying very hard when he was on the field not to limp, but even that last interception, a lot of people are arguing about this interceptions this week, which they were bad. I'm not going to deny that. But that last interception, I really don't blame on him because he was limping hardcore before that drive, and he literally couldn't move much in the pocket. And I think the fact that he didn't move much in the pocket, the O-line did the best they could. They can only hold Edmonton's defensive line as long as they did. People disagree with me. We talked about this on the live show. Jacob disagreed. Maybe Lane will agree with me. I think if your options are to Wicks fumbling the ball that deep in your zone, to throw a 50-50 ball and Wicks an interception, I think it better Wicks an interception 50 yards away your end zone versus like right in front of it. So I think Arbuckle did the right thing, even though it cost the interception.
What's the state of the game? Because it kind of matters.
It did matter. It was in the fourth quarter,
which turned into an Edmonton touchdown. Remember, Dan, if you take the sack, you can punt and try to.
No, I understand if you take the sack, but I mean if you take the sack and you fumble it, you're fumbling it on your 30-yard line. Versus if you throw the interception 50 yards away. It's like flipping the field.
They say if you're going to throw an interception, make sure you miss deep, and I get that.
Well, that's what he did. That's what I'm saying.
It was more to me. You could see he tried to step out of the pocket, he couldn't, and I think with the way his leg was hurting so much, I think he felt like he couldn't take another hit and just heaved it up. And again, if it's Dominic Coxey on that go route like it normally would be, maybe it's a huge catch instead. I mean, Mackay Folks did his best Coxey impression he could on that huge catch on the opening drive of the second half. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we all hope Nick Arbuckle's okay. But I honestly think he's been dealing with this injury since BC. He came out limping out of one of the plays against BC. You got to remember, before Jared Dagey came in, Nick Arbuckle has literally been under center for every single snap this season.
100%.
He's been doing all the short yardage.
I don't think any other quarterback's done that in CFL.
No, there's no one else doing everything like Nick Arbuckle was doing.
Short yardage.
You just have to hope that for his sake, especially because he's a human being and we should all care about human beings, that he's okay. And that this injury is not a long-term injury, and especially for Toronto, because I think they could still win with Jared Dagey, but it is going to be that much harder. But I thought before we get into the Blue Jays themselves, because I do want to talk Blue Jays. I sent it to both of you guys about the commentator from Baltimore calling out the Blue Jay fans for booing the guy trying to get the guy out at first base.
Well, that's what every team does.
Hold on. He said, I guess up here in Canada, they don't know much about baseball. They're too busy playing ball hockey.
Ooh.
Or something along those lines. He's like, I hope we're not on the Canadian broadcast. And then the other guy's like, no, the internet exists. Oh, shoot. It was a very...
Was he from Texas or something?
I don't know, whatever. It was a very weird situation. And Lane, there was a response that you talked about from a Jay player.
Yeah, this was crazy.
Watch Jeff's kiss.
So Ernie Clement, a former Blue Jay, current Blue Jay player. Not former, definitely not former.
Breaking news!
Right?
That got traded. If not traded, I
want to get the exact quote here, but yeah, he went on. They were talking to him, and I guess Mike Wilner was talking to him about this whole quote, about, that the fact that what he said, and he said, that's funny, they say that. We have 40,000 fans. They have 5,000. I can see why they'd be a little bit salty. So he just, I think that's like a bam, 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 bam. I mean, that is so funny to say. Well, we get 40,000, and I see more people in the grocery store than at their games.
You might at a Costco in the GTA, legitimately.
Yeah, literally. Wow, that's.
I thought that was so. I was like,
that's awesome.
And I'm going to say this too. I think that quote kind of pissed the Jays off because they went out in the third game and just completely annihilated the Orioles.
Oh, they did, yeah. Just sweeping the broom, which really helps. That really helps keeping their stranglehold on the
I wouldn't call it a stranglehold, Dan.
Okay, stranglehold is the wrong word, but it helps keeping the lead on the division, right? Because we're getting closer to the end of the season, and a sweep is a big difference, right? There's only 3 seasons left. Sorry, 3 series left in the season. So
yeah. I have
some statistics from the Toronto Star.
Yeah, I gotta give the Toronto Star some credit. This is a great little look at it. So these are the Jays kind of looking at. This is the Jays. They only need 4 wins now to officially clinch a playoff spot. But I thought we could take a look. Now this is not in order of their game. This is kind of what the Jays are looking like.
Can we get Paul Maurice on the side though, Lane? Do you want to hit that little?
Yeah, I was gonna say I like Paul Maurice.
Thank you.
I don't want him. Kicking down my door or something. or not giving me a handshake because he won and he's salty about it. We'll take a look. So the Jays right now are sitting at 13 games remaining. They've got a strength of a schedule at about 50%. They've got 6 home games, 3 against the Red Sox, 3 against the Rays, 7 road games, 4 against the Rays, which is about to kick off tomorrow, and 3 against the Royals, which is, I believe, following that. Now, the Yankees also have 13 games. They are now 4.5 games behind, I believe, of the Jays. They have a 46% schedule, so a little bit easier. They've got 3 against the White Sox, 3 against the Orioles, 3 against the Twins, and 4 against the Orioles. So, obviously, a little bit easier of a schedule than the Jays. Jays have to face the Red Sox who are chasing them, the Rays who do kind of beat up on them sometimes, and the Royals who are also
Royals beat up by Jays too, funny enough.
But here's the real kicker here. The Red Sox, they only own 12 games, so they have one. The Jays actually have 1 game advantage on the Red Sox, and they have, by statistically, a tougher schedule.
Oh, yeah,
3
Tigers.
against the A's, 3 against the Tigers, but again, depending on when that is, that's toward the end of the season. The Tigers, you maybe get them playing, scratching some starters. 3 against the Rays, and then, of course, the 3 against the Blue Jays. And then it's also cemented because that kind of like weird situation of who gets the ultimate home field advantage. The Detroit Tigers also have 12 games, so the Jays would have a 1-game advantage and the tiebreaker on them. They have a 498 schedule, which is almost as tough for the Jays. Not quite, but pretty close. They got 3 against the Cleveland Guardians, 3 against the Braves, and another 3 against the Guardians on the road, and 3 against the Boston Red Sox. These strengths of the schedule as determined by Mr. Fangraphs.
Interesting statistics. I like the fact how it breaks down the percentage of the difficulty of the game. I don't know how you exactly determine that, but
you look at strength of opponent, basically, right? Strength of opponent, where each team is based on.
Oh, I see.
The Jays are facing teams, and I guess I wonder if they're looking at the Rays because the Rays are a team that let's be brutally honest. The Rays are a team that tend to just go put the Blue Jays down in the dirt.
they do, and
I don't know what it is with this team.
Funny enough, for whatever reason, we don't know, but Jays have a difficult time against the KC Royals sometimes. There was that playoff rivalry 10 years ago when they had their series earlier in the season. I believe they lost that series, and they predicted to win that. I think it was the beginning of August, roughly.
Yeah, they did lose it.
But the Jays beating the Astros and then sweeping the Orioles, and the Yankees and Red Sox, no one getting a sweep. Yankees didn't.
I don't think we had a sweep all through August either.
But here's the beautiful thing: the Jays are now 4 games ahead of the Yankees, and 5.5 ahead of the Red Sox. If they can head into that Red Sox series at least 4 games up. Even if they lose 2-1, I'll be honest, the Jays are looking pretty good to win the division right now. If they at least get a split against the Rays.
98 wins?
No. But if you can get a split against the Rays, because I believe it's a best of 4?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. So if you even just get a split against the Rays, and then even if you just win, worst case scenario, you win 1 out of 3 against the Royals. If you win that series against the Red Sox, you will have the division.
Crazy.
But Lane, he doesn't even want to say it because Lane doesn't like the word ass. But it's time for a gas or ass to Mr. Lane Dashing Dashco.
So for those of you who don't know, that looks like the Blue Jays are going to be playing their big prospect for his debut game. Yes, Trey Yesavage, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, will be making his major league debut tomorrow as the starting pitcher. They say he's ready. He's a high-ranked starting pitcher. They picked him this year. He's been performing well. Is this a good idea against the Rays, gas or ass?
I say gas. I like it. I think you have a starting rotation. No? I think you have a starting rotation that needs a little bit of a break going into the playoffs. And look, it's a situation where if it doesn't go well early, then you can put in maybe Alek Manoah, who you've just called up to try to get.
Did they call him up?
I believe they did as well.
Did they? I thought he was in AAA. Oh,
I thought they called him up. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the donkey in the gas or ass segment today. But either way, or maybe you just, worst case, you know what? Your young stud doesn't do very well, goes out 2 innings, and then you put in like a Bassett or something to go finish this game out. So I like the decision because you're up 4 games over the Yankees, 5.5 over the Red Sox. I don't mind this decision now.
I'm going to say gas. I agree with Jacob. And the reason why, funny enough, I compare it to...
Because I'm really smart.
Yeah. I compare it to a hockey situation we saw in Montreal probably about 10, 15 years ago of a young kid named PK Subban. If we all remember, they called PK Subban up right before the playoffs, kind of like what the Jays are doing now. And his first NHL game, I believe, was a playoff game. Oh, you look at Matthew Knives of all current situation. Toronto called up Knives right at the end of the year, and he started playing right at the end of the year into the playoffs. And we're starting to see that with young kids, and it's starting to work out really, really well. So I think for the Jays, why not try? And best case scenario, if this kid does really well as a starter, you look at their bullpen going into this playoffs. It's been a little questionable. Maybe if he does well as a starter through the season, you move him to the bullpen for the playoffs. That's what I would do.
I think it's I'll be honest, boys. I think it's too early. I get wanting to give a break, but you're going to throw this kid who hasn't even pitched a major league pitch yet. Yeah, I know he's doing well in AAA. That's all fine and dandy, but I'm sorry, the MLB is a different. You can't compare the AAA to the major leagues. That's why it is the major leagues. Yeah, you can fluctuate, but at the end of the day, the major leagues is the major leagues. It's the Sharks.
So since I was wrong about Manoah being called up, would have you called up Manoah instead of this young kid?
I think it's weird that they didn't. I think, you could say whatever you want about Alex Manoah, but Alex Manoah still, at the end of the day, was an MLB pitcher, right? He was
a starter.
He's been a starter. He's had experience. He knows. He's got a routine down. Whether he's been good or not, you could question.
Sorry. Is this the guy that Mr. Gray said?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Dan Gray. We had a show, oh my gosh, about 3 or 4 weeks ago when Dan Gray was like, this is the guy you got to call up. This is the guy you got to call up.
And he knows his Jays very well.
I get it. I mean, I understand why they did it. I'm just saying it's an interesting, I understand they have a big lead, but again, I'm going to go back to a comment I made a few months ago a few weeks ago about the Hamilton Ticats, and it's kind of frustrating to me to see a team that has a chance to really blow the doors off here and take this division lead by the stranglehold and really get a hold of it here and try to get this, and now they're throwing out a pitcher who's never pitched before. I get maybe he's incredible. I understand. Maybe he is. Maybe he's going to come out there and get 15 strikeouts and be the best pitcher ever. I hope so. But again, you're feeding a kid who's never played a major league game to the Sharks in a big start where he's going to be relied on to go 6-7 innings because they don't have much of a bullpen and they're trying to rest their starters. And it's a game where you still need to win it. Every game is still important until you get that division clinch. And I've seen it happen before where, you lose one game and then all of a sudden you're on the last game of the season and you don't get the division win. I'm just worried this could be one of those games where we look back, he gets clobbered 8-0. They have to put the bullpen out. The bullpen gets tired through the series, and then they're down. They lose 4 in a row, and we're sitting here going, good calls, John Schneider. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty. I got aggressive fastball.
But everything you do, right? Every decision you make from here on out goes down, right? So let's say you Savage only goes 2 innings. Then you're throwing Little, you're throwing out Fisher, you're throwing out Varland, you're throwing out these pitchers, and they get tired because they got to pick up a whole game. Then what happens in the second game if the other pitcher doesn't go deep? You got to put your bullpen out. Then what happens if Gosman? Yes, he's had 3 good games. What if he doesn't have another 9-inning pitch? Like, I get everything. What if? I get they're all playing great, and the Jays are winning games when they shouldn't be, and they're 46 wins, and I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm a happy Jays fan. I'm just concerned that we're putting in a rookie in a situation where maybe if there was 3 or 4 games left when it doesn't really matter, once we've got it, then throw him in. Sure, give him a shot, give him a game when it doesn't matter. But right now the wins matter. I think it's a weird decision.
I see Lane's point. I really do. That's interesting.
I do, but I also think you want to get him in early enough to maybe see if he's a guy that you think you can maybe use in the playoffs as a longer reliever.
Kind of see how he plays like when the games matter.
I don't know. I think I don't mind the start, but he's got to have a very, very short leash. Now, obviously, it's not just the Blue Jays we're watching. We're watching the Red Sox versus the Yankees, which when they had their series, Yankees took it 2-1. But I mean, no one getting a sweep was the best thing for the Jays.
That was huge.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's time for us to grab our cellular devices. Lane, do you have a cell phone?
I think so.
Dan, do you have a cell phone?
I do. It's almost an antique. It's iPhone 11.
That's not an antique. Lane, how old is your phone?
Oh, it's Pixel 7. It's got to be at least 3 or 4 years now.
Dan Lane's phone is older than yours, and he still has the power to download the Streakers app. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We did the speed run, got a lot of positive feedback, but I don't feel like doing the hit him with the venom eliminate. I just want to minimum him today. I don't want to do the rap god Eminem today. So what I want to do is we have 3 series coming up that we need to be watching as Jays fans. Jays versus Rays, Red Sox versus Athletics, Yankees versus Twins. So let's do our series picks in the Streakers app. Mr. Morfor, well, he's on the subway tomorrow, going to a secret location. We'll put those in our sports booth. And when they're in the sports booth, Dan, do you know what you're going to do? You're going to make a video on social media, and you're going to tell everyone it's in the sports booth. You don't need to disclose your secret location. You can do it from the bathroom.
Okay.
But
I don't want to see Dan in the bathroom. Oh, God.
I do. We've already seen his feet. We may as well see his weenus. I said weenus. Don't you worry. But Lane looks terrified. But Lane, now it's time to do our series pick. So we're going to go through each series by series, and we're all going to pick on who's going to win this series. Will we be the SpongeBob? Will we be the Mr. Krabs? That, my friends, is the question. So, first series I want to talk about, the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Who wins the series? Mr. Morfor, starting with you.
Jays.
That was fast. Lane.
I'm always supposed to go fast.
I hate to say it, I think it's going to be the Rays.
Ooh.
I think it's a bad decision.
To be honest, I think it's going to be a split, which I can't pick that because I'm not letting myself pick that because that's kind of BS. So I'm going to say Jace. Now
I
let's
hope
go.
I'm wrong.
Now I hope you're wrong too, Lane. I hope I'm right, even though I think it's going to be a split. But now let's go to the Red Sox versus the Athletics.
Ooh.
Who wins this series, Mr. Lane?
I actually can't believe I'm saying this. I think the Athletics are going to win it.
Funny enough, I was also thinking Athletics, so I'm sticking to it. Athletics.
Playing spoiler, right?
Yeah, I think they are. Spoiler alert! Whoop whoop! And by the way, it's always fun to pick the underdog.
And just so you know, if you're up there, Brent Rooker doesn't care about your parlays. I can't believe he actually texted a fan that. Did you guys see that? A fan texted him on Instagram saying, "Oh, you ruined my parlay," and he goes, "I don't care."
One thing, that's the beautiful thing about the Streakers app. You don't need to worry about your parlay.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are you taking, Dan?
Red Sox. Taking the Red Sox.
Now let's go New York Yankees versus the Minnesota Twins. And I'm taking the Yankees in this one. I don't think the Yankees are going to go down without a fight. I think the Yankees will win this series.
I'm saying Yankees, unfortunately.
I don't know why, but I'm going with the Twins. I thought when the Twins played the Jays, they looked pretty good team. So I think I can take the Yankees.
So remember to jump into our sports booth once Dan has it all opened up. He'll post a video on social media from a secret location. Dan, do Lane a favor. Don't make it the bathroom.
Okay.
Make it the shower. And maybe, Dan, you know what? Just because you love to do it, throw in some props that make no sense in there because it's always a good
Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe like.
Will you Scabage throw at least one strike? Give everyone a point. Get everyone in that Streaker's point. But remember, though, those are in the Streakers.
Wouldn't that be something if he didn't?
But Lane, what's going on in the world of the WWE? Which, did you know the WWE has a website that starts with www.wwe.com.
It's a lot of W's.
I like it.
A lot of W's, Mr. Dashko. So what's going on?
Well, in the most we got two things on the docket today. We'll start off with the most controversial one, and that is the WWE announced for the 43rd edition of WrestleMania, they will be headed to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, making it the first official WrestleMania to be international for the first time ever. And let's just say this has been a hot topic because, of course, the WWE and TKO they have a deal with the Saudi Arabia entertainment system that they actually have a contract that they pay them to put events on. So they have business deals. Every time they go to Saudi Arabia, the WWE and TKO and Endeavor make a ton of money. So, you know, they're looking at WrestleMania, which is the grand scale. It's their Super Bowl. It's the event that makes them millions and millions and millions of dollars. And of course, Saudi Arabia is willing to pay a hefty price for legends. They got a big stadium. They got a lot of fans. They got a special exhibit. They have literally a WWE. They even have their own WWE, like literally like Disneyland there that you can go that nowhere else in the world has. So of course they want to put on a big product, put on a big show, and for the first time ever, W is going to be headed to Saudi Arabia. Now the controversy is that everyone's saying that W has kind of lost their soul. That a lot of people saying they're selling out. That this is not focused towards what the wrestling fans want. This is them trying to pick up money. So it's a bit of a hefty topic, but at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do about it.
Wait. So you're saying it's controversial that a business is trying to make money?
Well, because people are saying that, again, like, and I'm not trying to give him credit here, but Vince McMahon, whether you hate him or love him, or whether you don't like him for what he's done, or there's no way in a million years, and I'm literally saying, I would bet my entire life savings that he would have never, ever taken WrestleMania to any other country, even if they were willing to pay him $1 billion. Vince McMahon, whether you love him or hate him, did gear WWE shows for the families. He always kept the prices cheap. He did care about his money, but he always cared about the fans and always made sure that a family of four could go to the wrestling show, buy their tickets to go see their favorite superstars. Unfortunately, now because TKO within UFC and Endeavor, that's not really their focus. Their focus is more on, dollars and cents. And people are starting to call that out, saying, the ticket prices every time you come around are now they're into the thousands. Now they're into 2,000.
Thousands.
Oh yeah, like now it's like
Holy.
even before I used to be able to go to a show for $80. Now it's 400. So
Wow.
you're thinking your 4 kids, you're paying at least to get in the door almost $1,600 to $2,000 compared to paying $300. And now for this WrestleMania, tickets are going to be, I don't know, 1,000 at least, maybe 3,000.
So call me crazy, because as we all know on the island here, I am learning for WWE with Lane. I'm not a WWE fan, but I'm learning with Lane, just like some of you listeners might be learning. What you're describing, Mr. Daskell, with going to Saudi Arabia, is this a sellout move? That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, that's what a lot of the fans are saying, right? A lot of the fans are saying that, that they're basically just worried about the financial gain because they know that this event's going to make the most money. They're already estimating they said that WrestleMania has made $400 million in total. They think it can clear that with just this one event.
That's insane. So
they're willing to pay it.
That's nuts.
It is. To me, this sounds like a Snoop Dogg Cooking with Martha Stewart situation.
Well, it's definitely something. Like, people are wondering now, John Cena, I don't know if he's here, I can't see him, but
I can't see him.
People are wondering, he's supposed to be retiring in December, as he claimed he would stop wrestling but the Saudi Arabia government and the entertainer Turki Al-Sheikh, I hope I'm saying that name right. He has said he is willing to pay any price for any legend or current star of the WWE. If they want a payday and they want to come wrestle, they'll get a financial e-transfer from the Saudi Arabia government. So
I'm down.
If you're Stone Cold, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and even John Cena, they said, will be paid a financial amount if they want to wrestle on this show. So people are saying, will John Cena go back on his word now and be like, well, hey, I could go make, I don't know how much money would he pay, $400,000 to go wrestle a 10-minute match. Sure, I'll go back for nothing. People are saying The Undertaker, who has had, double knee surgery, has had trouble walking over the last 5 to 6 years and can't wrestle. Will he risk his health to get back in there and just to make a payday?
Well, I do got to say this, though, and unfortunately what people have to remember is this is all a business, and the goal of a business is to make as much money as physically possible.
I get that.
Whether we like it or not. Look, do I like that ticket prices in WWE have skyrocketed, even though I will never go to a WWE match, although I might if I ever win $1 million? Then sure. But at the end of the day,
I don't know. It sounds more interesting.
Tickets have gone up. Leaf tickets have gone up. Argo tickets have gone up.
True.
Ticats tickets have gone up. Barry Colts tickets have gone up.
Brantford Bulldogs are insane.
Went up. The price of milk has gone up. The price of bread has gone up. The price of a Lane dashboard cardboard cutout, I'm sure, has gone up.
This has all happened because the price of gas has gone up.
Well, we're not going to get into the politics of that, Mr. Dan. Nice try, though.
It's true.
But Scotiabank. But what I'm saying is everything has gone up in price. So unfortunately, it's just the way it is. But I do understand the frustration for fans. NHL fans say the same thing when they do games in Sweden. They're like, hey, now we're losing home games. Toronto Argonauts and BC Lions fans are saying the same things, and they got to play on the road. But at the end of the day, teams are worried about one thing, and that's making money.
Yeah, unfortunately. I understand it. I understand why they're doing it, because it's just going to be like I said, this is going to be a successful event. I know it. At the end of the day, whenever they pull up this event, they're going to have record-breaking numbers, and they're going to be happy with the financial gain. But I do understand the fan backlash. But at the end of the day, there's nothing they can really do about it. It's already been announced, and unfortunately, if you don't like it, don't watch. But we all know they're going to watch anyways. It's the best ticket in town.
I'm just curious what Dan is doing.
Oh, I saw a bug.
But you know what? Unfortunately, Blaine, I was about to segue out of WWE to go to the worldwide controversy topic number 2. But Lane, you have some more WWE news that you want to get off your chest.
Yes, I do, and this just happened. Well, that didn't happen today, but we got some more information today. WWE superstar known as Andrade has been released now for the second time in the company. It was reported by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select. He's a great wrestling source. If you need to get your news, you can go there. He's a great, awesome guy. He released a statement a few days ago that Andrade, who not sure why was one of the only releases of the day for the WWE. It was the second time being in the WWE, but this time it was released out of nowhere, and there was a lot of shock. Like, well, why has it been released? He was brought back as a move to kind of throw it in the face of AEW, who's the other company who had him and then took him from the WWE, kind of made him a superstar, and then the WWE wanted to promote him to make themselves like, well, we could promote him better. So a lot of people were kind of confused at why he was released a second time, and nobody really knew why. They thought maybe it was budget, but it wasn't that. And now today, Dave Meltzer, who's another popular wrestling from the Wrestling News Insider, has stated that it's some sort of disciplinary action, that something happened. They don't know the whole story, but something a few months ago happened backstage, and they're not too happy with it. So they said they've cut ties with him for the second time. And unfortunately, Andrade, who's had a tough time in the last few years, really trying to find a stable wrestling show, has unfortunately lost another home in WWE.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that sucks.
Well, I don't know. I've heard a lot of problems. He's like, I don't know the man. He could be a really nice guy, but heard a lot of issues with locker room issues. That he kind of throws his attitude around, and seems like he did kind of sort of a situation here where they wanted him to do a certain thing in a wrestling match, and he said, "No bueno, I'm not doing that." So they just said, "Okay, well, see ya." So maybe
though, they got to do what they got to do.
So I'm assuming you're going to see him on the independent scene. Maybe even go back, or maybe he goes back to his hometown in Mexico and wrestles for a popular promotion called the CMLL, which is a very popular wrestling promotion. So he might go back home there. He may even go to New Japan, or maybe he'll take a page out of that Karrion Kross, and maybe you'll see him at your local indie show. You never know.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
You'll see him at your local Walmart.
Probably not, but
correct me if I'm wrong.
Eggs.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Daskell, but wrestling is extremely popular down in Mexico, so much so that they have like their own custom like face masks and outfits and stuff like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, of course, because WB is actually working with a Mexican promotion right now in AAA, where they have a partnership. But yeah, lucha wrestling is very prominent.
I was going to say what's a special word for it. I saw the amazing.
Yeah, lucha libre.
Yeah, that's cool.
You might see him. I'm assuming he's going to go back home to CMML, which is a company he worked for multiple years. It's a Mexican promotion. It's the second biggest wrestling promotion in Mexico. I wouldn't be surprised there. Maybe he could go to Japan. I could see him going there. That they really need some superstars.
Maybe I think he'll be big in Japan.
Oh, the wrestling's huge in Japan. Well, it's kind of fallen apart now because they lost a lot of superstars to All Elite Wrestling. But if they can land a guy like Andrade, you never know. It's a big star for them.
Wow,
but when we talk about some controversy, unfortunately,
I'm surprised Jacob's even talking about this.
We have to talk about some controversy in the NHL. So, in a statement earlier in the week, the league said Carter Hart, as long as Dylan Dubé, Alex Fournier, Kyle Foote, and Michael McLeod, conduct was falling short of standards of value of the league. However, they will be allowed to sign with a club as early as, I think it was October 3rd. Is either 13th or 16th. And they will be back in the NHL by early to mid-December. So let's be honest, out of all those names, I think there's only one name, and I don't want to get into whether they should be allowed back into the league or not. I'm just going to say it is what it is, and we'll leave it at that. But Carter Hart is probably the most interesting name out of those names. Would you boys agree?
Yeah, I would say Dubé was underway when he was a Flame. I liked him as a Flame. I also like Cale Foote. His father, Adam Foote's a legend, and Vancouver's head coach now. And I know Carol Foote never really made it in Tampa Bay's AHL system. He did play some AHL games. Like he was so dominant. Well, Jerry Team Canada, he was very dominant on the ice, I'm saying. Very dominant on the ice. And I could see him having potential to be a very good defenseman in the NHL still.
Now, my big thing is, I do wonder, they're saying Carter Hart only wants to play in the U.S. and he only wants to go to a contender.
I don't buy that.
Well, sure does everyone.
So, but I'm going to say this, and I mean this in a non-controversial statement. People were mad about Sean Lemon coming back into professional sports. Joe, do you think people are going to be okay with someone like Carter Hart coming back in? Do you think a team is going to be willing to take the amount of BS that's going to come with and the drama and the locker room tension for, I'm going to call him a mediocre goalie at best? He doesn't want to go to Edmonton, Dan. He's made that previously.
I get that, but some sports are just different than others. I mean, football is as much as football is the most physical sport, it is a gentleman's sport, right?
No, but Dan, I don't.
You look at a sport like basketball, and all the controversy behind Kobe Bryant back in the day. Rest in peace now. It's terrible what happened to him. But before that, there was a lot of controversy about him, and he still ended up playing.
Okay,
and I think hockey.
Dan, I'm not saying this is right, but this is true. There's a difference between a superstar and a mediocre head and a mediocre player.
I don't think,
right? And I'm not saying I agree with that statement. And again, we're losing focus here. So I'm going to grab the fishing rod and reel us back in. Reel us back into the conversation here. Being willing to put up with Carter Hart's off-ice situation.
Yes.
And in a situation where Carter Hart will be willing to go there. She doesn't want to go to Edmonton.
I think they will. I think
no, but I'm just stop saying I think. Who? What team do you think is a good fit? Because some people said Utah. You're not playing meaningful games in Utah, probably. Pittsburgh, no. Columbus just got Ivan Fedor, not that Russian.
I get that, but
when I saw that trade, it made me think Carter Hart might be going back to Philly.
I can see that.
Go ahead. Lane has his hand up like a good little boy.
Pittsburgh.
Ready to go to the washroom. I'll give you the battle pass instead of the washroom pass.
So I got a team because if you don't remember, Boston and they picked that controversial kid in the draft. The kid that literally, and they did cut ties with him, but they weren't scared to pick him and know about the controversy. And Boston literally knew that he bullied a kid and didn't apologize and didn't care one bit that he literally bullied this kid for 10 plus years and still picked him first round in the draft. So Boston is, I hate to say it, they're an older mentality of an owner, like an older owner there. They don't really care about the controversy stuff. I think Boston would sign him like that.
100%. Especially Jeremy Swayman last year.
No. Hear me out. Here's the problem. Carter Hart wants to be a starting goalie playing meaningful games. He's not the starting goalie in Boston.
He could be, Bob. Jeremy Swayman was terrible last year.
Now, again, maybe by October we have a clearer picture.
That's what I'm saying, right? And the thing is, Jacob, I agree with you. Carter Hart is not a franchise player. No, and I agree with you, even though it's not right. Most might be more forgiving for a franchise player. However, what's different about Carter Hart is that he's a goaltender. And he's a mediocre.
Yeah, I'm going to say this right now. I'd rather have Stuart Skinner than Carter Hart.
Same would I.
Well,
Stuart Skinner got you 2 Stanley Cup finals and went save for save with Bobrovsky in quite a few of those games.
The thing is, Carter Hart has the Team Canada experience on the ice. He's very good at winning.
We're not talking about the Team Canada experience. No one cares about what you did in juniors. How many players were the best players in junior, and then they came into the big boy league and they were terrible?
I get that, but winning in Team Canada shows you have that winning mentality.
Nothing in the NHL. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Lane,
do you care that he won when he was 18?
I don't give a crap. No.
No one cares.
But I think Buffalo will care because Buffalo isn't goalie.
I was going to say Buffalo, but it's signed Yogi for Buffalo's not going to be competitive.
He wants to play meaningful playoff games. Buffalo has not made the playoffs.
I agree with Lane. Boston's the number one spot.
I'm just thinking going through.
I was going to say Pittsburgh, but
no, I don't. I'm not gonna get into it. But Sidney Crosby, there's no way in hell he's gonna be okay with this. So I think that's true too.
Yeah,
in Pittsburgh, Sidney Crosby is a big part of the decisions.
Yeah.
And I still think just because Marc-Andre Fleury is coming back to play one game, then he claims he's retiring, I could see him getting the itch.
Washington?
Well, I think you already, that's a gasser. Let's just make that a gasser ask because I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know. Have you ever seen Lane?
Well, now that you brought it up, Jacob, that's my gasser ask. Will Marc-Andre Fleury get the it's itchy to play another season in NHL? I'm saying gas. I think he's going to be itchier than when he's at the campsite when he forgot his bug spray and the mosquitoes bit him all night long.
You know what? I would have said ass 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to say gas now.
He's going to play and be like, he's going to play and be like, I can still do this.
I think Sidney Crosby's going to go up to him. Come on, Flower. One more run. If we're by January and we're nowhere near the playoffs, then retire again.
Gas.
One more run. I'm going gas.
Oh, I can see it being the opposite. I can see Fleury make the training camp and everything, and by January, if Pittsburgh's in the playoff spot, sign him for the second half of the year.
I think he's playing.
I think he's playing too.
I think he's going to
whether it's beginning of the season or at the end of the season, he's going to play another NHL game this season.
He's already said he says he's retired, but he's still listening to offers. Teams are willing to pay this guy a lot of moolah.
I'll tell you what. I would rather have Marc-Andre Fleury as a 40-year-old versus Carter Hart.
100%.
I would.
100%.
I would. 100% I would.
1,000%. I would almost rather have Marc-Andre Fleury more than the striker drop on my phone.
A Stanley Cup champion, someone who brings Stanley Cup pedigree.
3 times Stanley Cup champion.
Someone who did something past junior hockey.
And he made it to the finals with Vegas. 5 Stanley Cup final appearances because he did make it at Pittsburgh without winning
leadership.
But leadership's insane. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think Marc-Andre Fleury is the best goalie of this era. I really do.
Like, truthfully, when people tell me it's Carey Price, I'm like, no, take off your Montreal goggles, and it's clearly Marc-Andre Fleury.
I think so. No disrespect to Carey Price. Lovely
human being. Disrespect to Carey Price. He's not Marc-Andre Fleury quality.
Yeah.
Never has been, never will be. Carey Price was a very good goalie, but he wasn't at the same level as Marc-Andre Fleury. Like, Carey Price, yes, he was a good goalie. But how many times when they needed Marc-Andre Fleury, when they needed that one more save to win a Stanley Cup, they got it. When Carey Price made it to the finally, period, right? Ran out of gas. Yeah. That's what it comes down to.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying Stanley Cups make the difference between Hall of Famers, but when we're comparing the best of the era and they're neck and neck in a lot of stats, then yeah, I think you do have to look at Stanley Cups. But before we say sayonara, Lane wants to look at the donkey's butt at least one more time.
Well, there's one thing we haven't talked about, but I need to ask about it. And it's not brand new news, but we didn't get to it on the last podcast. It was a jam-packed episode. We got to get to it today. As many of you know, Kirill Kaprizov of the Minnesota Wild was offered a record-breaking 8-year contract. I believe $16 million per year. So he would have been the highest-paid player. Like, literally, the league maximum that you could give a player. And he said, what's a little noise? No. Is this a mistake from Kirill Kaprizov, or Is he going to be out of? Is he going to be like strike 3? You're out of here.
I think he's going to wait to see if he thinks Minnesota can actually win. If
what team offered him the contract?
Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
He still has one more year left in his deal, and I'm going to call this out. This is why the Toronto Maple Leafs are leaving cap space open.
Yeah, whatever.
Try to bring in someone like a Kaprizov. If all of a sudden Kirill Kaprizov comes to Toronto, everyone's forgetting Mitch Marner's name.
Yeah, but you know what I'm scared of is this. How much does this guy think he's worth? Like, is it the money?
No, Lane,
it's not the money.
I don't think it's the money at that point.
Nothing to do with
money. It's that he wants to win. And I think he's waiting to see if Minnesota could be a team that could win. Look, Connor McDavid has said the same thing. It's not just the money. He wants to win a cup.
Do you think Minnesota?
I'm just going to put something.
I think Minnesota. There's a good chance Minnesota trades him before trade deadline. Maybe
I'm going to put something crazy out there. That's insanity.
Edmonton.
He doesn't sign because everyone likes my crazy ideas. He doesn't sign a contract leading into this trade deadline. He'll be a rental player. And he will get traded to Washington as a rental player to play with Alex Ovechkin.
If he was going to go as a rental player, I think would take the gamble again. I still think Carolina would do it again. They're desperately trying to get over that hump.
I'll tell you, Washington's going to make a humongous push this year for a cup. Right? Ovechkin's last year was contract, the best goal scorer of all time. He needs to set the cup.
Be worse.
I just don't think a team's going to be willing to. Like, I know the Leafs did it, but I think teams are going to look at the Mitch Marner situation and go, like, we can't have that. We can't have it where it's
or the Mikko Rantanen situation.
I think Marner's worse because, like, Leafs can handle that, but if you're another fan base where you hang on to this player and you try to sell merch and try to sell jerseys and you try to win and you don't, and then he leaves, it looks bad on the Leafs, but at least are a big enough team that they can fight it off. You're a smaller market team. You're going to lose a lot of fans. And Minnesota already is a team that, let's be brutally honest. They're one of those teams that, when they're good, they'll get the fans, but when they're bad, the fans won't come. Just the way it is there.
True.
They're not a team that can afford to try to make a name off of a guy and then he leaves to go. He goes, oh, peace, deuce.
That's why they're going to trade him as a rental player. And I think Washington.
They got to trade him before he's a rental player. They got to trade him.
Okay, fine. At some point this season, they're going to trade Kaprizov, and I think Washington is going to make a humongous case. They're going to trade whatever amount of draft picks they got left and whatever player they want to make the cap space a good piece. I'm not saying he's going to sign very long term, but wouldn't it be awesome to have the best current Western player? Because I think I think arguably he's the best Western player in the NHL currently. To have him beside the most legendary Western player of all time for his final contract of the year. It's got to be.
Nope. You cannot tell me he's more legendary than Sergei Fedorov or Alexander McGillney. Either the first player to defer.
No, but I mean currently.
You said you didn't say current.
But that's what I meant. I do apologize to McGillney and Fedorov and all those great ones.
To apologize to me.
Well, I did apologize.
No, you didn't. Real apology.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you got it done in time. Good job.
I don't think he meant it.
I did meant it.
But I'm sorry to everyone, but we have to go. But before we go, Dan has to give
it's almost 2 a.m.
his wisdom from the Island Mindset.
I did talk about it on our live show. By the way, this huge shout out to all your great loyal listeners. Jacob pointed out earlier, so I want to go a little more detail. It was our most watched live show in the Island in history. We had almost 300 people watching us live on Facebook, which is incredible. That's not including YouTube or Twitch numbers, so we could be a lot higher than that. But I just want to say thank you for everyone. It gives us the energy to keep going, to be entertaining for all of you. But as I did mention in our live show, this weekend in Hamilton and Toronto in the CFL, they did do, especially Toronto, they did a military night for the veterans. Toronto had over 300 people, over 300 Army veterans come to the game, which was fantastic. Viewer of the show, Connor, was saying us how they were people were giving up their seats for veterans to come in, which is awfully good of them. But I just want to say, as I saw veterans around the stadium, I stopped and shook their hand and thanked them for everything they did. They're risking their lives to serve our country and make our country one of the best in the world. And I just want to say, if you see a veteran out there in the street in uniform, take the 5 seconds and shake their hand, because it means a lot to them. They're brave men and women who sacrifice their lives to make this country so great.
Absolutely. Always say thank you to a veteran. And because without them, we wouldn't have the beautiful country that we have now. So, you know what? Thank a war hero when you get the chance. Or if you see a former war puppy, give him an extra puppuccino from Star.
Oh, yes, true. Yes, I got to give huge shout to the puppies, too.
But it is time that we need to head out for the morning. But thank you very much for watching the Streakers Island podcast. If you want to have as much fun as we do talking about sports, download the Streakers app.
That's right.
And play along with all the fun sports that are in there, tons of different game modes. And know if you click in a game mode, you click on a certain area and there's nothing in there, that means it is coming soon, so it will be there. We're just showing you what the app can be at some point. So make sure you download the app, jump in there and give it a try. If you have any questions, just because Chazzy is currently in a bunker on the island, he's in a much more secret location than Dan is when he takes the subway. He is still working very hard on the app to make it the best it can be for you, the player. So thank you very much for watching the Streakers On podcast. We'll be back on Thursday. And let us know if you're interested in a Thursday preview show for the NFL Week 3. And maybe we'll do it. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But let me know. Thank you very much for watching. I'm the self-proclaimed sports analyst. We all know we love sports talk with the analyst. I'm joined by Mr. More for Your Money.
Woo!
And Lane Mother Truckin' Dashko. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Lane, wave. Wave.